Good afternoon, good Tuesday evening. Good Tuesday evening to you. Peace and grace. We are grateful that God has brought us to another opportunity to come together in love, come together as a community. As we this second episode of season 2 of Power to the People. As we come together, we can empower each other. And so we bring issues, modern day issues and social issues to the forefront in our communities. Those who um, tune in across the nation have the same opportunity, even wherever you live in Dallas or California, Virginia. If you have a social issue you want to bring to the forefront from this platform, you can get in touch with me, and we'll be more than happy to do our due diligence of research and bring that social issue to the forefront. So, thank you for those of you who are tuning in. And of course, today's uh, Power to the People Townhouse Show is brought to you by none other than the Destiny Church, Destiny Community Baptist Church, and I am Dr. Wiley White Jr. And so we're glad to be here to be able to bring something. It's not an issue. However, what we've decided to do is to bring African American once a month, read authors, African American authors, bringing them to the forefront, new authors, as our children have been out of school and falling back. It will be good as they go through the summer and the spring to perhaps get into some reading from those authors that look more like them, to encourage them to be able to do the same thing. So once a month, I've decided to bring on a new African American author. Now, if I'm not going to discriminate. If there is somebody out there that's not of African American descent, I'll be more than happy to bring you on as a new author. And so we have a young lady. Go ahead and do me a favor and share. Go ahead and share this. I ran through our theme twice because I couldn't get my phone together to be able to share. So I'm not going to be able to share. So you're going to have to share for me. So I appreciate you. All right. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to introduce the young lady. I know the University of South Carolina Gamecocks are on. Came on at 6:30. Our season is pretty much washed. So you can just stay here with me for about another 35 minutes, and we'll catch them in probably the third quarter. All right. Looking for my other set of eyes. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna give a quick introduction, and she can tell us what else she wants us to know. She's coming from McCormick, South Carolina, and she's a graduate of USC, actually. Latonya V. Leverette. I hope I'm saying her last name right. She'll clear it up for me. Of course, she's a Gamecock. She got a bachelor's degree in political science there, and in psychology. And she's a graduate of Troy University and a master's in education with a concentration in law school. She's retired from the state of South Carolina after working in law enforcement and education. She was called into the ministry in 2013. She's currently serves as the Alpha Kappa. My eyes are not working good for me. Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. She's a member there, and her hobbies are reading, writing, traveling, shopping, and decorating, spending time and with her family. All right. So we bring before you tonight, Miss Leverette. Did I say that right?
Leverette.
Leverette. All right. Welcome to Power to the People. I'm so glad to have you. And you are not living in McCormick right now, right?
I am.
You are. Okay. Okay. I see. Well, this is a running joke. Now I'm from Greenwood County, and I normally people that are born in Greenwood, they grow up and they leave McCormick. So it's good for you to be home. Everybody ought to be able to give back to their community, and so I appreciate you staying there and giving back as much as you can. I have one of my best friends. I don't know if you know Gerald Searles.
I do know. Grew up down the street from him.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so you know what I deal with as a friend. of his. Well, I'll be
Yeah.
sure to let him know that I had
Are
you
you a
on. I wish.
Kappa? Are you a Kappa?
No, no, no. I know he is, right?
Yes.
No, I spent too many years in the military to bow down to that stuff. So yeah, we go through a shell back once we on the ship go through a equator, the the South Pole, I think it is South Pole. Once we cross over, going from the East Coast to the West Coast, we have initiations, which are pretty rough. So that's what I carry. But we're glad to have you. We're going to jump right in here um, tonight. I have a couple of questions before we get into the actual book. And I'm sorry, I want to put the name of the book is What a Friend We Have in Jesus. It's the name of the book. Now, before you swipe and say, I don't want to hear another Jesus book or another Jesus story, I had an opportunity to read it, and I couldn't put it down after all the stuff I have to do and trying to do. It captured me because I was the one like, oh man, that's what my doctor's in the studies of theology and in ministry. So another book on about Jesus. But what she does with this book, man, is amazing. How her life, she fits her life as a puzzle inside of uh, Jesus ministry and makes it come alive through her. And so I was excited because I saw myself in there, and I want you to be able to see yourself in it as we go through some of the book, and your kids can also see themselves in it. There's something for young people to also learn in it, and we're gonna get to that. So without further ado, I'm going to ask her some author questions
Okay.
about being an author, and so that you know that she just think it's just not a testimony book. It took some work to be able to be a author, and that's the other reason why I want to be able to highlight some new authors. But I'm just going to ask her about 4 or 5 questions about what it takes to be an author, so that we would know. You may be interested. You may have your own story, your children, your grandchildren, and that way you at least have been exposed to some of the uh, things that it takes to be an author. So when did you first realize you wanted to be a writer?
Well, first of all, I had gone through a divorce, and this was kind of my way of putting my feelings on paper. When you're going through a divorce, it's kind of first of all kind of embarrassing, to say the least. Uh-oh.
We can hear you if you talk while you're getting together.
Uh-oh. Did we lose each other?
My producer tried to get you, but we can hear you. If you could go ahead and just explain. Okay, we got you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I
No problem.
apologize. I'm sorry. First of all, going through a divorce, it was quite embarrassing. It was kind of a difficult time. So this was an opportunity for me to put my thoughts on paper. So I just started writing. And what I did was initially I went on and I decided I was going to have 11 chapters, and I named my chapters. And so after getting to about the sixth chapter or seventh chapter, I kind of got stuck. So I stopped writing. And so I actually started writing the book about 10 years ago. And what happened was during the pandemic, that's when God told me, you need to finish your book. During the pandemic, go ahead. You had a question?
No, I didn't have a question. I'm amazed that you said that it started. The 7 chapters started from a divorce, but it didn't sound like that. You kind of your brokenness, I would say, probably came from the divorce, and you were able to spread it out the way you did. Am I
Yes.
looking at that correctly? Okay.
Yes. And
Wonderful.
actually, and you've read my book, it doesn't talk anything about a divorce or anything negative about my ex husband or anything like that. But it was just a way of me relieving myself, or just a stress reliever, should I say.
Mhm.
So
Right.
it's nothing about a divorce in my book. I even shared that with my ex husband. There's nothing negative in my book.
Right.
It was just a part of me just to start writing. kind of like people that are going through mental issues or troubles. If they start journaling, it allows them to get their thoughts out. So that's kind of what it was for me.
Okay. Well, now how long did it take you?
Okay, that happened about 9 years ago, and during the pandemic, I was a teacher, so we were teaching from home. And in March, I was standing beside the bed one night, and God said, "You need to finish your book." I said, "Okay," and I'm learning to be obedient to God. So I had my book on my computer, and this is the most embarrassing thing. It had been so long, I forgot the name of my book. It took me a minute to actually find it on my computer. So when
Wow.
I did find it, I actually saved it on a flash drive, and every night I just start typing. I typed every night. One of the chapters I kind of laughed about because I was typing, I was so sleepy, but God was just giving it to me, and I was sleepy and I was typing. And the next day when I went back to read it, I found so many mistakes, but still the content, it was there. So I was just being obedient to the Lord when He told me to finish my book.
Okay. So was that a writer's block that you had that you
It
had?
was.
Look, okay. All
But
right.
you know what? This is the amazing, most amazing thing. And after I finished the book, I realized I had a writer's block. So that's why I stopped. But no, God had a greater purpose, because as I fast forward 9 years ago, if I had written the book then, there were some people that would not have been in my book. There were some stories that would not have been in my book.
Mm.
So during that time, I met four awesome ladies that are now in my book, their names. So God, He has a way of doing things.
All right. He worked it out. Worked it out. Right.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what does it take for a book to get published?
Okay, I kind of wrote down the steps for that. First of all, my company is Christian Faith Publishing Company, and that was a company that was recommended to me. First, they take your book and they review your book, and they let you know we don't accept all books. And so immediately they wrote me back and said, "We will accept your book." Next, they come up with a contract to see if you're interested in what it's going to cost to publish the book. Next, you have to pay a down payment. After you do the down payment, you make monthly payments. After that, during the process of you paying each month, they have someone that's editing your book. And once they're editing, they're sending it back to you to see if you will approve the edits. After that, they approve the layout of your book, like the chapters, how you want the chapters. So you have to approve that. After that, you approve your book cover. And after that, then it's published. And they send you 10 copies. And if it's good to go, then it's published. It's
Okay.
completely published.
Okay. All right. Let's jump into the meat of things here.
Okay.
Um, all right. You write about faithfulness in the fourth chapter. We're going to skip all the way to the fourth chapter. And coincidentally, God was dealing with Destiny Church as we really just moved from one church with a name change, and but we had to do that by faith, and we're dealing with that in our Thursday night Bible studies for the next 13 weeks about dealing with faith, and for the next couple of Sundays we're dealing with sermon topics concerning faith. But you write about going through the recent divorce, and and there, okay, and
So,
your which changed your life, um, and made you scream. Let me read what you wrote there. This particular piece for those who are listening that don't have the book, and we'll get y'all information about how to get the book. Your it says, I went from being extremely comfortable financially to struggling financially. I went from being prideful to having no pride at all. This was like a preach. When I read this, this was like a preach, man. I want to holler it. So, I went from being extremely comfortable financially to struggles financially. I went from being prideful to having no pride at all. I went from being strong to being weak. I went from being secure to being unsecured. I went from being married to being single. I went from being private to having uh, dev-
To divulge.
to divulge all my financial information. This took me from my comfort zone to fear and lack of faith. I cried. I was scared and lost. I had to give up the control I held. And I like this. I had to give up the control I held on for far too long. I had to finally give control to the one who was ultimately in control. I
Hmm.
did not know if I was coming or going. I felt like every time I took one step forward, I took three backwards. I had to go from being in the driver's seat to being a passenger in my own car. I felt very strange. It felt strange allowing God to drive and I being either a passenger in the front or the back seat. Often I attempted and tried to tell God which direction to go. I
Hmm.
remained um, I reminded God on my many occasions in this last sentence, on many occasions, he was down, he was going down the wrong road and he needed to turn left or right. We all done that and do that. Nevertheless, God continued to drive to show me who was truly in control. And so it felt weird, you say, and
Hmm.
yet you survived.
Yes,
Now,
yes.
yes, I love that. I really did. Um, did you do any research? I know you talked about Joseph Stryver. Didn't get any credit for writing, and I should have asked you this in the beginning. But what a friend I have in Jesus, the writer of that wrote it, but he never got any credits for it until 30 years later. Do you know why he didn't get any credits? I was curious.
Actually, I read that today. I knew a little bit about it, but I did read that after you sent me that question. First
Mm-hmm.
of all, he was in love one time, and he had a girlfriend, and she drowned. And after she
Oh.
drowned, he was very sad and depressed, and he started touring the world. He met another young lady, and that young lady, she died of pneumonia. And then he kind of got depressed, and he actually wrote this song for his mom, which really was not a song, it was actually a poem. And he died, and then he became famous for it. And so he didn't get any credit because after I think he drowned also, I read. But
Mm-hmm.
I guess you're wondering why I use this as the title of my book.
Well, after reading it, but say if I had it on the if I saw it on the shelf, you can tell me why.
Okay, first of all, one of the reasons I use this as my title is growing up in the Christian church or the Baptist church. Of course, that's the song that you hear if you hear nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
What a friend we have in Jesus. And as a kid, that song really didn't mean much. But then when I was going through a divorce, that song really meant a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it just really was embedded in my mind. What a friend we have in Jesus, all of our sins and griefs to bear. And that was the faith part that I didn't
Mm-hmm.
realize. I was just giving God some of my problems, some of my issues. I was not giving them all to Him. And
Right.
so this song had so much meaning for me. And I said, oh, wow, what a dynamic title. And actually, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a book cover for it, but this cover on my book is actually a church in my county and I love this church. And it just went hand in hand with the book. So
Okay.
that's how I came up with the song, actually from church. And that song is a comfort song. So that's why I use that song as the title.
Okay. So, so with all of what I just read that from that fourth chapter,
Mhm.
um, how did faith and I hope those who are listening and may will hear this broadcast throughout the week um, heard all of that. That's how she put that so poetic and not necessarily poetic, but I would say prophetic in a sense that you would understand how to have faith to survive. How did
Okay.
you have faith to survive?
Well, one thing, as you just read in my book, I was trying to do it my way, and I
Mm-hmm.
realized, almost like our parents said, the longer you do it your way, the longer it takes to get there. So I had to realize as soon as I relinquished or took hold for me and gave it to God, then He will work it all out. So it was a matter of having trust and knowing that you have to, when you're going through something, you have to depend on a divine person, someone that's greater than you. And the only person in the entire world that's greater than you is God. And he's
Mhm.
the creator, and he created you, and he knows all about you. So there's nothing that I couldn't tell God that he didn't already know about me. He knew I was going through a divorce. He knew my finances were crappy. He just wanted me to come to him and to be honest and to have a dialogue. So when I realized, hey, this is all about my relationship with the Lord, it's about trusting the Lord that he's going to get me through it. And I had to realize that he knew me better than I knew myself. He knows how many hairs I have on my head, and I don't. So that's
Right.
why I decided to let go and let God. Because the minute I start trusting the Lord, things started to get better. But when I was trying to fix them on my own, they were horrible. So that's the faith part. That's where the faith part came in.
Okay. All right. Well, we're halfway through. We're going to pause for about 90 seconds to run commercials that we have for today, and it's only going to take about 90 seconds. So if the author needs to step away for 90 seconds, she can, but you need to stay so that you can see these advertisements. Perhaps you want to get involved and buy something. All right. All right, we have Yard on the Green. It's from the DMV area up in Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C. And this appeared on the Today Show. Yard in the Green, its owners are Adrian and Asia Carroll. If you're looking forward to have birthdays just to celebrate holidays or whatever day you want to stay, you may want to give your wife a surprise as she pull up in the yard and be able to surprise her with some special uh, decorations in the yard. So any occasions that you may have planned to have, if you're in Washington D.C., Northern Virginia area, Maryland, get in contact with um, Agent Carol. Their website is www.yardonthegreen.com. All right, and then we have Sharon and Sandra. Sharon and Sandra owns a Avon company, and if you want to buy Avon, may want to check with them, get with them. You can buy, shop, or either become a rep. All right. Then we also have here um, Latoya Funderburg. She is in New York. The Funderburg Fall law firm serving Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, um, Staten Island, Brooklyn, New Jersey, and there's another area, the Bronx. So she covers um, DWI, DUIs, divorce court, civil court, criminal court, personal injury, last will and testament, living wills, whatever you need, just about they're covering. They cover all the boroughs of New York. All right. And then last but not the least is this young lady, a paracalico. Paralico. I struggle with her name. That is means helper, and it's a management company um, where her motto is we focus on your business so that you can focus on your passion. So anything that you have going on as a business, she can take care of that, assist you. And I am the executive director of marketing. And so some of the things that you're seeing right now for its advertisement, even virtual events that we can show across the world to your families. If you like to get in contact with us, you can contact me or Natasha Grisham. All right, and we are back. We have two more questions for Miss Leverette. And we have two more questions for you from actually three from two of the chapters. And I asked you guys to excuse me, my eyes. I have a doctor's appointment to get my eyes checked out, see what's going on. Getting older, I guess. And then this COVID probably did some more damage to me as well. In chapter 5, it's entitled "Be the Best or Be Nothing." Be the best or be nothing. Now, your mother sounds a lot like my father. He was that type of, or be best or be nothing, and it was hard to impress him. He died about 5 years ago, but it was always difficult to impress him, or to at least know that he was impressed or not. He always kept his cards to his chest, and I guess that kept me pushing. When he got sick, then I started going back to Greenwood a lot to check on him, and I started hearing how much he used to talk about me, and I would never thought that, but he talked about how proud he was to other people, but I always was trying to get to the next level to at least get a smile out of him for carrying the name. But it sounds like in reading chapter 5 that your mother was the same way. And I wanted to highlight that particular chapter about being the best, be the best, and be nothing. For young people out here that's listening, or grandparents that may have them to listen to this recording, to think as parents, for them, your mother being hard on you, did you see her? What was your perception of her is what I'm trying to get to. What was your perception of her pushing you? Did you find resentment because you didn't feel like she was a friend? I know now by reading your book that you appreciate everything that she did do, but during that time when she continued to push you, what was your perception of her, your relationship with her? And my reason for asking that is because I work in the school district, and you see that a lot of children in this generation, we have, I would say, because the ages are so close together for as mothers and the children and the grandmothers, that they see their parents more as friends. And when they begin to bring a little bit more discipline, they get disappointed because they don't see that friend in the parent. What was your perception of your mother being pushed like you were pushed?
Growing up, I really disliked my mom, to be honest. I thought she was so strict. You probably read in the part, boys didn't want to like me because, I mean, it was a chore to get through my mom to get to me. So they like, no, we won't even date her or like her. And so academically, she was very strict and demanding. And my mom was an educator. So at the time, I really disliked her being so difficult. But the day I went to college, I saw everything that she had instilled in me, all of the quotes, all of the discipline. It all made sense. I was sharing recently with my friends. I was at Carolina, I had freedom, but I was telling them I still was afraid to do a lot of things. I thought my mom would come to Carolina and tear Carolina campus up. So still, there were things that I just did not do. I just thought my mom was that foolish that she would come to Carolina and embarrass me and then make me go back to class. So
Right.
I really appreciate it now, but at the time I did not appreciate her being difficult and hard and strict and overemphasizing reading and education. So now I am so very grateful that she did.
You're good. Um, yeah, that was a comment there. Well, I find myself a lot like my father, even with pushing my kids when they were young, and they didn't take it too well. Uh, it still some bad blood in that, but even with Tasha, whom you know,
Mhm.
um, she even right now she's presently away doing her minister's Baptist ordination, and she's in the testing even now. But when she was licensed as a minister, I congratulated her. But not too long after that, I guess it's been about maybe 4 years ago. But about 2 months or 3 months after she was licensed, I started preparing her and giving her books on this ordination. It just only happened 4 years later, I guess it was. But so a shout out to her. I know she's doing well, knocking it out the park. She better anyway. So be the
So,
best or be nothing.
yeah. So we don't appreciate you all at the time, but afterwards we actually do. And actually, I was quite difficult on my son as well. I probably was just like my mom. So now I have no regrets.
Okay, all right. And we'll get you out of here on this question, and you can share anything you like to after this. And those who are listening, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and put it in the comment section. I welcome you from those who are listening from YouTube, Periscope, and a few Facebook group pages. All right, in chapter 10, now there's 13 chapters, right? 14,
11.
11. So I almost got all of them. But I got hung up on chapter 10. You talk about you know what, I can see better without the glass. I know something must be wrong. uh, you talk about how God can get your attention,
Yes.
and how he got your attention through um, you having a surgery, having an eye problems yourself. Bless your
Mm-hmm.
heart. I'm up here talking about my eyes and thinking about what you went through in the book with your eye injury, um, and your divorce. So God gets our attention.
Mm-hmm.
But if you would share how um, God was, of course, a attention getter for you through your divorce, through your eye injury.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't an injury or just a
Just
illness.
no, it wasn't an injury. It was just something that abruptly happened.
Okay. So anyway, you're gonna tell us what happened, but I want you to parallel that to COVID.
Okay, I
How it
will.
is that God may be in the midst of COVID-19, how he could be an attention getter, since you have known the signs in the road of how God gets your attention.
Okay.
Could COVID be a signs in the road? And if so, how is it?
I think so. And there are lots of illustrations. First of all, in 2003, I was working on my master's, and abruptly, I just started having blurred vision. And I thought it was from just sitting at the computer, typing, doing my work. And so that happened like Saturday, Sunday. Monday, I went to Walmart to have an eye exam. And the doctor, the ophthalmologist, optometrist, whichever one, he sent me actually to Augusta to a retina eye specialist that same day. I got there and he told me, he said, I'll see you in surgery tomorrow. And I'm like, surgery? I've never had surgery in my life. What do you mean? So he said, you have a partial tear in your retina. If you don't have surgery, immediately you will go blind. So of course, does that get your attention when someone tells you you're going to go blind if you don't have surgery? Absolutely. So he got my attention. But not only doing that, that happened in January. I didn't go back to work until August. So during that time, I was at home, flat on my back, recuperating. And the one thing I realized, I wasn't saved. I had been in church my entire life, 32 going on 33. And I realized that I was not saved. And
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't been a little angel. So at from 0 to 31, if I had died, I would have died and definitely gone to hell. So that was an eye opener for me to connect with God. and I really connected and I got saved during that time. So I was grateful for that. Then the men going through a divorce, going through a divorce, it was so difficult. And the thing that I did was I started listening to gospel music. I had a friend that would send me scriptures. Lo and behold, I get called into the ministry. Again, God got my attention. So God can use very hurtful or painful things that can actually be positive. Okay. So let's fast forward back to COVID. Do I think God is trying to get our attention? Absolutely. I think he's trying to give our attention if we go back, just like he was trying to give the Israelites, get their attention. That journey took them 40 years. It was not designed to take that long. So, the moral of the story for me, for you, for any of us, our journey may take longer. God has us destined for a place or a purpose that He would love for us to go. But sometimes it takes us longer to get there. Why does it take us longer, Dr. White? The answer is disobedience.
All right.
It'll keep you out there longer than you have to be. So that's what I think with COVID. Have we been wearing our mask? Have we been social distancing? Nope. Disobedience is keeping COVID going longer than it should be. And that was designed for God to get our attention. But do I think He intended for it to go into a year almost starting on a second year? I personally don't think so. But we've been disobedient. So I think, we have to look at those things, and I reflect on myself. I'm not here to judge anybody else. So some of the things I look at, I've been in them longer than I should have been because of my disobedience. But every time I had faith and obeyed God, then the duration was a lot less.
Hmm. All right. So even when you was in it longer than you should have, which is all of us have done that, been there, and probably doing it right now. And you found Jesus to be a friend, even then, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Because the reason what a friend we have in Jesus is, Dr. Wally, I may not even be able to share my innermost parts of how I'm feeling with you. And you may be my best friend, but the one thing that I can do is I can go to Jesus and he's going to intercede. I'm sorry.
Okay.
He's going to intercede on my behalf to God. So, and the beauty of it, I may get depressed at 1 o'clock in the morning, but Dr. White, you're my best friend. You're asleep at 1. So who better to call on than Jesus? I
Right.
can call him at 1 o'clock in the morning. I can call him at 3 o'clock. And guess what? He's never too busy. Sometimes I'll call you, you my best friend, man. I'm at work, can't talk right now. But I can call Jesus anytime. And he's never going to say, Tanya, I'm busy. So that's why we have to have a friend in Jesus. He's always available.
Good. Good. All right. Well, I hope you guys have sparked some interest, and it's just not, even though this particular book is Jesus being your friend, it really brings a whole different perspective. And I promise you that you'll be able to sit yourself inside of that book. And by being able to do that, and with other books, we'll get different philosophies, we get different concepts and precepts about how to handle problems. But if you can sit yourself in the lap of Jesus, as she does with this book, there's an assurance that this book can bring you some guidance and to how to get to the next level of life. So I hope and pray great success on the book. Can you tell us when it's coming out and how it's coming out?
I will. I certainly will. First of all, Dr. White, thank you for having me on. I need to take you and your wife with me to help me advertise my book. You've done an excellent job in really explaining the book. So thank you.
Mhm.
And thank you for having me on. The book, I am having a book signing on April 3rd in McCormick, South Carolina at the Cotton Gin from 11 to 4, just so we can social distance. But with my publisher, they have sent letters out to 3 companies, hopefully, and they will approve it: Barnes and Noble, Walmart, and Amazon. So after April 3rd, you'll be able to get my book in those stores. If you come to my book signing or you get the book from me, I will be glad to autograph your book. So thank you all for listening. And if you have any questions, let me know.
All right. So you can contact me. I'll forward you to her if you can't find her on Facebook. And but we look forward. We'll probably at least bring it back to holler at the people and say, hey, it's out there, and that's
Okay,
no
great.
problem. Or either, and we could talk about this later if you want to have your event put out there through our. Well, I'll let Tasha talk to you about it, but we
Okay,
can put it out there. We reach over about 100,000 viewers in a month's time, and
oh,
so hopefully
awesome.
we could get it out there for you. All right, thank you so much for sharing with us, and we wish you all the. I see somebody wanting a copy already. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you so very much.
Okay.
Miss George, I'll make sure that you get a copy of that.
Yeah, she's in Charlotte, South Carolina, but we'll make sure we get you back on the air. All right.
A
God
little
bless
bit
you.
of Sherrall, South Carolina. I went to Carolina with someone from Sherrall.
Oh, did you? Okay. All right. That's where my wife is from. So that's how
And
I
thank
ended
her
up.
as well for me.
Okay, I will. All right. Have a blessed day and we'll
All right.
be in
Thank
touch.
you.
You're welcome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for riding with us on our second edition or of our this is our second season of our second what you call it second edition episode. I'm having the COVID brain fog. Sorry. So so thank you for being with us on today, and we're going to come back next week. The next episode would be episode 3 with we're going to talk about COVID long haul. We have some people across the nation that will be joining us, and I'm a COVID long hauler, and there's a group that I'm a part of that helps. We try to help each other, encourage each other throughout the nation. It's rare that people catch COVID and you don't shake the symptoms. So I caught COVID at probably December the 10th. And so I still have the symptoms. So once I do something like this or preach on Sunday, it really takes me about 2 days to recover. So after this, I will go to bed. Hopefully, I will go to sleep. Last night, I didn't sleep. So now I'm on my 24th hour of being up. So this disease, if you need to be careful. You need to be careful if you don't lose your life. The next worst thing is being in this condition, almost like the Walking Dead. But I'm gonna keep moving as much as I can, keep doing what we do as much as we can um, until the Lord makes His move. All right. So you guys have a blessed week. We'll be back tomorrow night with Minister Sheila Felder at 9 o'clock. She will give us our reflection on Hump Day, Wednesday. We'll reflect and come and give our burdens to the Lord. She'll pray for us, and hopefully we can lay down in peace. And so then on Thursday, the last broadcast of the week will be a Bible study as we're studying how to please God. And we're on lesson 2. And lesson 2 talks about pleasing God through worship. Do you really know how we please God through worship? I hope if you don't, tune in at 7 o'clock on Thursday. All right. God bless you. We're going to run right through these commercials before we leave. And an opportunity for you to give to Destiny Church. I think I need to stay on to explain that right quick. If you give a gift unto the Lord, we ask that you give through Venmo, It's at My Destiny. Cash App, $ My Destiny CC. If you have Givelify, it would be look up Goodman. Oh God, look up Destiny Community Baptist Church. And if you do it by snail mail, you can do it by P.O. Box 334, Sherwall, South Carolina. I normally don't ask for donations during the week or gifts through the week, but we pray that you would do that. Hold off on the Giverfly until maybe Thursday. Okay. All right. God bless you all, and we'll see you Thursday night.